Mark Lowry has finally spoken openly and revealed the long-awaited truth about the future of the legendary Gaither Vocal Band. After years filled with speculation, anticipation, and endless fan hopes, Lowry has now shared why the beloved group will never come together again. In what can only be described as a heartfelt and candid revelation, he pulled back the curtain and explained the real reasons behind this life-changing decision. Fans who had been holding out hope for a reunion were given an inside look at the challenges, the transitions, and the realities that ultimately brought the group to this moment. His words came as a revelation, one that stunned longtime Gaither Vocal Band followers and left them yearning for even more. Details about what truly happened behind the scenes. The breakup of the Gaither Vocal Band marked far more than just the end of a popular group. It symbolized the closing of an era in Christian music. Lowry's revelation not only confirmed that the group's time was over, but also explained why a reunion was no longer possible. For many years, devoted fans believed that the group, famous for its timeless songs and breathtaking harmonies, might one day find their way back to the stage together. Yet Mark, who had been one of the group's core members, made it clear that their chapter together was finished. Importantly, he explained that the decision wasn't the result of bitterness, arguments, or any dramatic falling out. Instead, it was a natural conclusion to a journey that had already served its purpose. The Gaither Vocal Band, created by Bill Gaither in the late 1900s, quickly rose to become one of the most influential groups in gospel and Christian music. They had a rare gift, blending rich harmonies, deep expressions of faith, and unmatched musical talent. Their songs turned into anthems sung in churches and concert halls across the globe. For Mark Lowry, who played a central role in the group, this band was not just a career milestone, it was a personal and spiritual connection with his fellow members. Together, they poured faith into music that inspired and uplifted millions. But over time, as with many things in life, the dynamics began to shift. Life on the road, constant touring, the pressures of recording, and the expectations of always being in the public eye began to take their toll. What once felt like pure joy slowly became draining. While the music itself continued to unite them, the exhausting schedule eventually wore on each member. Lowry himself admitted that the passion for relentless touring became harder to maintain as the years went by. His decision to step back wasn't rooted in conflict or resentment. Instead, it was about acknowledging reality, that their time together had naturally reached its conclusion. The happiness they once found in every performance was gradually replaced by exhaustion and the quiet recognition that they had already given everything they could. Mark's honesty brought clarity to a question that fans had asked for years. Why can't the Gaither Vocal Band reunite? He explained that, like with any close-knit group, life changes people. Members grow older, their priorities evolve, and their lives move in different directions. This doesn't erase the bond they once shared. It simply means that the journey they walked together has ended. The legacy of the Gaither Vocal Band will always remain untouched, cherished deeply by millions. But as Mark pointed out, the stage that once united them as brothers in faith and music is now part of the past. It was, in many ways, a painful truth for fans to accept, but also a reminder that endings are a natural part of life's rhythm. Behind the applause and glowing success, Lowry revealed that the band quietly faced struggles that fans never fully witnessed. On stage, the world saw the ovations, the smiles, and the overwhelming connection the group had with their audience. Yet offstage, there were personal battles, exhaustion, and the emotional weight of constantly balancing their public roles with private lives. For Mark, being in the Gaither Vocal Band had begun as a dream come true. He had loved music since childhood, and being a part of such an influential group was a blessing beyond measure. But as the years rolled by, the harsh realities of non-stop travel and performance began to chip away at his energy. The group's schedule was unrelenting. Performances, rehearsals, interviews, appearances, these demands created a cycle that never seemed to stop. Even though Mark's heart was still full of love for music and for the audience, the never-ending grind left him feeling worn out. The weariness wasn't just physical, caused by travel from city to city, but also mental. and emotional. Maintaining the joyful, humorous, and faith-filled public persona while carrying personal burdens became an invisible struggle. Mark opened up about the loneliness of being away from family and friends. He missed birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, the little moments that gave life meaning. Though he was performing for thousands of fans and blessing countless lives, he couldn't ignore the quiet ache of absence when it came to his own loved ones. This was when he started asking himself if the sacrifices were truly worth it. His love for music and his mission of sharing faith was undeniable. The cost of constant absence began to feel overwhelming, adding to this. The pressure of always living up to expectations weighed heavily on him. Known for his humor and lively stage presence, Mark sometimes felt the fear of letting people down, his fans, his bandmates, and even himself. The music of the Gaither Vocal Band was centered around joy, love, and faith. But there were moments when Mark struggled to feel those very things inside. The conflict between the message he was sharing and the emotions he carried privately became another burden. Despite all of these struggles, Mark never stopped giving his best. He pushed himself forward because he knew the music wasn't just entertainment. It was a ministry, a message of hope that mattered deeply to the audience. But eventually the toll became too heavy. Even during performances, he sometimes questioned whether he could keep going at the same pace. The love he had for the band never faded, yet the demands of the road began to overshadow the joy of the music itself. In time, Mark came to understand that he needed to take care of himself. His journey with the band had been powerful, both professionally and spiritually, but part of spiritual growth is recognizing when it's time to pause, reflect, and heal. The realization wasn't easy, but it was necessary. He began to see that the struggles weren't just about fame, schedules, or the spotlight. They were about his inner journey, his balance between personal life and public duty. Through self-reflection, he understood that he could not keep pouring from an empty cup. To create meaningful work in the future, he needed to prioritize his own well-being. That honesty with himself ultimately became the catalyst for his decision to close the chapter with the Gaither Vocal Band. The end of this chapter, however, didn't mean walking away from music or ministry. It meant learning that true success is not just about fame or longevity, but about balance, peace, and self-awareness. Looking back, Mark does not see his time with the Gaither Vocal Band with regret. Instead, he remembers it with gratitude for the music, the friendships, the faith, and the immeasurable impact they had on their fans. The group's legacy in Christian music is undeniable. For over 3 decades, the Gaither Vocal Band wasn't just a musical act. They were a powerful voice of hope and faith. Mark Lowry gave his heart to that mission, and though the group will never reunite, the lessons, memories, and faith they shared will forever remain. From their harmonious melodies to their deeply impactful lyrics, the music of the Gaither Vocal Band has touched millions of hearts across the world. Their influence has never been limited to the songs alone. It has always been about the bonds they created with their listeners, the uplifting messages of faith and love they carried, and the way they reshaped the entire landscape of contemporary gospel music. When the Gaither Vocal Band first came together in the late 1980s, few could have predicted the immense and lasting impact they would leave behind. Bill Gaither, already an established figure in gospel music, envisioned something greater when he formed the group. With their remarkable vocal harmonies, a deep respect for traditional gospel roots, and just the right touch of contemporary style, the band immediately captured the attention of audiences young and old. Bill's vision, paired with the extraordinary voices of members like Mark Lowry, Michael English, David Phelps, and others, created a unique sound that struck a deeply personal chord with listeners. The Gaither Vocal Band's music quickly became more than just entertainment. It was a living message of faith, hope, and encouragement. Their songs, while rooted in religious themes, spoke to the universal human experience, the struggles, triumphs, doubts, and joys of everyday life. Their lyrics consistently highlighted God's love, redemption, and the strength of faith in overcoming challenges. Classics like "He Touched Me Because He Lives," "Let's Just Praise the Lord," became anthems for countless people who needed a reminder of hope. These weren't just songs for Sunday mornings in church. They became soundtracks for the difficult and joyful moments of daily life, offering light in times of darkness. The band's impact on fans cannot be overstated. Over the years, their following grew to span generations, cultures, and denominations. From young believers discovering gospel music for the first time to older fans who had grown up in the faith, the Gaither Vocal Band managed to reach them all. Their music transcended barriers, uniting people from all walks of life. Fans often shared how the songs had helped them through grief, hardship, and uncertainty, serving as a source of comfort, strength, and encouragement. Their live performances weren't just concerts, they were soulful experiences, where audiences felt like part of something larger, something deeply spiritual and communal. For many, the Gaither Vocal Band became a constant source of stability. In a rapidly changing world, their music provided reassurance, consistency, and a sense of continuity in times of both celebration and sorrow. People turned to their songs knowing they would find messages of hope and renewal. Much of the band's success came from their ability to not only sing beautifully but also connect authentically with their audience. Fans often said they felt like part of the Gaither family, a bond built on trust, faith, and shared love. For music, their influence extended far beyond their loyal fan base. Within the gospel music industry, the Gaither Vocal Band played a pioneering role in reshaping contemporary gospel. They brought fresh energy into the genre, skillfully blending traditional hymns with modern elements. This unique sound made gospel music accessible to wider audiences, inspiring both established and up-and-coming artists. Their groundbreaking style opened doors for others and elevated the genre to new levels of recognition. Equally significant were the Gaither homecoming concerts, which became cultural milestones. These gatherings brought together some of the most celebrated voices in Christian music, while also creating a platform for rising stars. The homecoming tours were known for their vibrant energy, strong sense of community, and powerful displays of faith. More than just concerts, they were unifying experiences where thousands gathered, bound by their shared love for gospel music and spiritual connection. Beyond their concerts, Gaither Vocal Band also inspired countless musicians. Mark Lowry, in particular, stood out for his humor, heartfelt songwriting, and his genuine ability to connect with audiences. His personal style influenced many younger artists, while the band as a whole served as mentors, guiding a new generation of gospel musicians with generosity and wisdom, even as the band experienced lineup changes over the years with members. Like Mark Lowry and Michael English, moving on, the Gaither Vocal Band remained strong. New members brought fresh voices and perspectives, yet the core message of faith and hope never changed. While the music evolved with time, the essence of the band, their ability to inspire, uplift, and connect, remained unshaken. Looking back, it is undeniable that the Gaither Vocal Band's legacy is immeasurable. They didn't just sell records or win awards. They touched lives, shaped the sound of modern gospel, and carried forward timeless messages of faith, hope, and love. Their music still lives on in recordings, radio, churches, and most importantly, in the memories and hearts of the people they inspired. As the group's era gradually came to an end, fans and industry insiders alike wondered what the future might hold, particularly for Mark Lowry, whose humor, distinctive voice, and songwriting were so central to the band's success. For him, the journey didn't end with the group. His career as a solo artist, speaker, and storyteller continues to flourish. Known not only for his singing, but also for his witty humor and heartfelt storytelling, Mark has built a career that reaches far beyond music alone. Albums such as The Best of Mark Lowry and Jingle Bell Rock highlighted his talent as an independent performer. His speaking engagements, often blending humor with deep spiritual insight, made him a beloved figure who fans still admire for his authenticity and relatability. Even after leaving the band, Mark continues to tour, sharing his unique blend of humor and faith-filled messages, proving that his connection with audiences is as strong as ever. Meanwhile, the Gaither Vocal Band's music lives on timelessly. Songs like He Touched Me, Because He Lives, and Let's Just Praise the Lord remain foundational works in gospel, sung in churches and cherished by fans old and new. Their role in bridging the gap between traditional hymns and modern gospel set the stage for the thriving contemporary gospel scene we see today. Perhaps the most remarkable part of their story is that their influence didn't stop when their active years did. Their music continues to be shared across generations, at family gatherings, in churches, and in personal, quiet moments of reflection. For Mark Lowry, the road ahead is not about recreating the past, but about embracing new opportunities to grow, inspire, and connect with audiences in new and meaningful ways. For the Gaither Vocal Band, their legacy endures as one of the most influential and beloved groups in gospel history, their music forever echoing the timeless message of faith, love, and hope.